Hey guys, Shane here for Fugatech 3D Printing, and today we're going to open up the September Maker Box. Welcome back guys. So again, this is the Maker Box edition. So this is the September box. We're going to dive in and see what they sent us. So once we open the box, there's always a sticker up here with some kind of competition or something going on. So they're going to be providing some Vonto filament cleaners provided by Cubicity, Cubicity.com. They're the guys that make the Cube 3, so you saw my video on that. And there's information here to how to go about doing that. Alright, so we've got some coupons, which is always great. So we have 15% off a Flexion extruder. So these are good for printing things like Ninja Flex or any flexible material that you have out there. You really need one of these. So 15% off is really nice, and it gives you the discount code on there. There's a 5% off discount for 3DX Tech, high performance 3D printing materials. So there's a little discount there, always good. Another sticker. Oh man, there's just full of coupons in this one. So 3D printing filament manufactured in Miami, Florida. Our colors, gives you all of them. And this is for MeltInk 3D, made in the USA. It's always good to hear. So 10% off your first purchase. So there's another one. And maybe this is the final one. So finally the last one is from Cubicity, and it's 20% off your first filament purchase. So again, all kinds of money off here. Let's take a look at the filament. Okay, before we look at the filament, what popped out was this little cube. So some people have already had it and they've been able to do their reviews. This is actually a filament cleaning cube. So there's two holes in it, one each way. So one for 3mm and one for 1.75mm filament. And you just kind of thread this through and then put it into your extruder. And this just makes sure that there's no dust or anything that comes off of that accumulates in the air, gets onto your filament. If filament puts it into the nozzle and then it jams up. So this prevents that. So this is a really good little thing that they put in there for you. Okay, so the first one we have is a flexible TPU from MakeShaper. This is great. I've never printed with flexible, so this would be a great time to start. Hot end temperatures 220 to 245, so getting up there to ABS temps. Bed temperature 45 to 60 C. Speed 10 to 25 millimeters a second. So pretty slow for this because you don't want it to jam up at all, because it is so flexible. It will actually get around the hobbled gear in your extruder if you're not using a Flexion, so hence why they gave you a coupon here for Flexion extruder. So the info on it: the 85A shore hardness, certified FDA compliant for food contact, and elongation greater than 500%. That's pretty interesting. And if you like the filament, they give you a 10% off with their discount code. That's great. Alright, the next one we have here is a hips from 3DX Tech. So again, that's why we have our coupon code in there. So let's see, the settings for this are 210 to 230 for the hot end. Bed temperature 90 to 100 C, so pretty hot. Speed 30 to 60, average. Info: this dissolves easily and deluminol orange solvent. Greater for soluble support structures. So I have read about this. And oh, the last thing here is they give you the $5 off your purchase with this coupon, which you also have a little card in here for. So I've heard about people with dual extruders loading this into one side, especially for very, very intricate models. So say that you have an orb and it's so intricate that you have to have support inside. Well, once you do dual nozzle for dual extrusion and you print it with PLA, whatever you're going to print it with, ABS, and then your support structure would be completely made of the hips, and that way you can soak it in this deluminol orange solvent and it would just dissolve the support away, and then you'd have a nice perfect model that was fully supported throughout the print. So this would be fun to try out. Next we have a PLA PHA from MeltInk, again with the coupon in there. So the print settings for this, there's 205 to 230, bed 45 to 60 C, speed 30 to 60 standard. Okay, so the info on this is ideal for rapid prototyping where parts are subjected to some force, as well as utilitarian pieces, whatever in the world that means. Again, they have a discount code for that. So this is supposed to be a little bit stronger than PLA, standard PLA. So again, never printed with it before, good time to try it out. Alright, the last one here is a glass-filled PLA from 3D Fuel. Print settings on this is 190 to 210 on the nozzle. The bed 40C, speed 30 to 60 millimeters a second. Info, it's 1.4 times, very exact there, stronger than PLA, 1.3 times tougher than PLA, and 1.9 times more flexible than PLA. You know, so this is a white with like a green tint to it, which is interesting. And they give you a $10 off your purchase with their coupon code here. So again, something else that's new, never printed before. We've got 4 brand new filaments for me to try out. Let's do some time lapses and take a look how they turn out. Alright guys, hope you're ready. So got those prints done. I didn't quite get a time lapse of each of the prints, and that was just because I was using my GoPro for another project. I'm thinking about picking up a couple of those $20 like knockoff GoPros just to be able to help me with the content. They're supposed to do 1080p, and I try to publish, you know, high def videos for you guys to see in all the glory, all of my niceness. But I do need to get a second. I can't afford another GoPro, but maybe one of those cameras. If you guys are using one of those, let me know. If you enjoy the time lapses, let me know, because I'd like to hear back if it's even worth my time setting up the time lapses for this stuff. But I at least got 2 of them filmed. I'm pretty sure I did, and you should have seen those. So let's take a look at the prints, see how they turned out. So the first one is the glass-filled PLA. So it's white with like a green tint to it, and here it is. So this turned out really, really smooth. I mean, not terribly, there's another one here that's smoother, but this is really smooth. The top finish on this is absolutely spectacular. So let's zoom in and we'll talk some more about it. So here it is. As I said, it came out really, really smooth, all the sides. The bottom came out great as well. It has a nice shine to it, printed right on glass. They called for 40C, but it did lift up a little bit. So I went ahead and canceled it real quick, bumped it up to 50C, and it stuck just fine. There were no issues there. This was printed again straight onto glass. That's how you get that nice shiny sheen at the bottom. If you guys like having that, stop printing on tape. Print straight on the glass and you'll be great. The support came off pretty easily. There was one little piece on here that went a little bit too, it was on there a little too much. Couldn't quite pull it off. Other than that, this is a great print. It has a chalky feel to it, if you'll take that. But other than that, it was a good print. This is a good filament. I enjoyed it, and it's kind of interesting to have that green sheen to it. You know, it's very unique. So it was a very cool print, and I like the filament. It's not too bad. Up next is the PLA PHA from MeltInk, and this is kind of like a sandy color to it. And here's the print. So let's take a look at it. So this is the PLA PHA, and when I said that the glass was, you know, the glass-filled PLA was smooth, this takes the cake. This is super duper smooth all on the sides here. I mean, I've actually never had something feel this smooth before. The top layers are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. There's no cleanup on this except removing support. So there was no stringing on this at all, no pimpling, nothing. It came out absolutely great. On the bottom, there was a little bit of issue here. You can see along the sides with, you know, the overhang over the support. It had a little bit of issue with that, and there's a little bit of splitting inside here. The glass field had a little bit, but not too much to write home about. The bottom of this one did have a little bit more, and the bottom layer actually swelled a little more than I thought it would, or I had some layer shifting. It's really weird. I might have had a little bit of layer shifting, but I haven't had that on any prints at all on my printers. but I might have had a little bit, or just the way it extruded. I'm not sure, but either way, this is actually a pretty fantastic filament. It doesn't flex at all. I mean, it says that it's stronger. It really doesn't flex that much at all, but this is actually a great filament. I really like this one, so I might actually look to try and pick some of this up. All right, these last two filaments truly are exotics, just because of what they're made of. So I have a HIPS and I have flexible TPU. We're gonna look at flexible TPU first, because this one was a challenge. So here it is in the clear. It's really hard to see it, so I'm gonna do that here. And it is just crazy. So we'll zoom in and hopefully you can see some of the details of this. Okay, here it is. So you will see there is quite a bit of stringing. I tried to clean up some of it, so this actually isn't even as bad as it was coming off of the build plate. But it's crazy because it flexes. This is like totally crazy. This probably isn't the best print for TPU, but again, this is my test print. This is what I'm doing all of the maker boxes with. And actually I'm printing every filament that I get for anything. I'm printing this model. So getting supports off of this is near impossible, because once the supports bond to it, it's basically part of the print. So I did get most of them off, and you really can't even see them because I really don't like clear filament. I'm going to say it now. I do not like clear filament for anything other than printing a vase. So that's kind of bad, but it is cool. You can see the honeycomb infill that I use. I use actually down this one to 15%. I normally do 20%, but because this took me 4 or 5 tries to get print properly, I had to really lower it down. So this was actually printed on my G-Tech. The others were printed on the FT. Well, the first two you saw were printed on the FT5. This is printed on the G-Tech, simply because I could not get the E3D to work properly with the flexible TPU. The E3D Titan, I should say, sorry. So it came out well. Flexible TPU is totally new to me. And like I said, just being able to flex this and it goes back is just mind-blowing. The stringing, so probably too hot, is a good diagnosis for that. And don't print this model. But either way, it was a very interesting print. The top layers suck. I'll say that. There's a lot of holes in them. Well, not a lot, but there's several places where there's holes in the top fill. It didn't fill all of those in for some reason. The bottom layers were nice though. They're nice and flat. So the flexible TPU is cool. This one is by MakeShaper. Sorry, MakeShaper. This is by, and I should have said that earlier. Anyways, MakeShaper flexible TPU. It's cool stuff. I would like to try and print something better in this probably. So hopefully I'll get some more flexible filament from someone to do some more tests out. But for a first test print, not too bad. Alright, finally I have HIPS from 3DX Tech. Now this HIPS was also pretty interesting to try and print, but the results are phenomenal. They truly are. So I was just absolutely mind blown with this print. Alright, so looking at it, it almost looks like it's a solid piece. The top layers are beyond words for how nice it came out. The sidewalls are just as smooth as that PLA PHA that I got from MeltInk, if not maybe a little bit better. You can't see the layers here. I mean, if I try on the camera, but even in person, you really can't see the rings that come out, and that you can see in almost every other print that I have. You can see those rings. You can't see them in this. Supports came off super easy. Little bit of mishaps in these corners, little bit. But as far as printing over the supports on these side parts here where it rounds up, there's not a single issue really with any of those parts. I mean, inside here is it, but this is a phenomenally weird filament, and I really enjoyed this one once I got it to work. So we'll talk a little more about that now. I said the new thing for HIPS. So I went on the Facebook group 3D Printing and I said, hey guys, I need to print with HIPS. Any tips? The one person that came out well was, they said no fan, which I didn't see anywhere when I Googled it. I don't, maybe I'm just a noob at Googling, but I couldn't see anywhere it said don't use a fan. And I was using a fan and I had 4 failed prints with this. And I was getting pretty low. You see, there's not much left of this filament. There's a good bit left of everything else except for this one. So I said fine. Well, on the G-Tech, sadly, I can't control the fan with that Slogo Uno board, whatever they have in there. So I ended up just disconnecting the fan, taking it right off, and this thing printed like a champ. I could not believe it when I came down, that it finished and that it looked so spectacular. No stringing, no issues, no bumps. The support came right off. So this stuff is something of another world. So this was printed, this and the flexible TPU were both printed on the G-Tech, and you can't really see, but there's blue on there. So I have blue painter's tape on there with heated bed on both of these. This needed a heated bed of 100 degrees centigrade, and the flexible didn't need quite as hot, but I had it heated and it stuck well. They came off easily enough, but I had to have that little bit extra of adhesion on the bed for it to stick properly. I couldn't just do it on glass, which is what I normally want to print on, but sometimes things need a little bit of help, and both of them did need help. Thanks for watching this, guys. I really hope you enjoy the MakerBox series that I put out. Hope you enjoy seeing all the prints and the time lapses and how the results come out with trying to do, I'm trying to do the same model with every different type of filament. Now, some filaments are more suited for it and some are not. For example, the flexible filament is not really suited for this type of model, at least not that I was able to experience in the small sample that you get. I don't have enough of the sample to do another one of these. Maybe I'll try and do a small vase or some type of other object that people normally print flexible with. But it's good fun to test these out and see if I would like, buying this for myself and getting it, and printing out more with each of these types of filaments. I have my favorites out there, but as I'm trying out more filament companies, as I'm getting more filament in, I'm seeing that a lot of them are more the same, and there are some that stick out as different. They excel more in that type of filament. So this is great experimenting. I hope you guys subscribe to stuff like this. This is great to learn. If you're new to 3D printing, or if you're an old hat and you just want to see what different companies have to offer, it's a really good way to see that, and to not have to buy an entire roll of filament and it be crap. If you only have a small roll, it doesn't turn out well, so be it. You know what were you out? This is what, $15 a month, something like that. It's not really that much, so it's well worth the try out and see how things are. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, hit a like. If you disliked the video, hit the dislike button, but please let me know. I said that before, I'll say it again. I really want to know what you dislike about the channel or about that particular video. Is the audio bad? Is whatever it is. Please let me know. I want to hear from you. If you want to support the channel, you can help me out on Patreon. You can donate me $1. I greatly appreciate it. All proceeds go towards the channel, helping making it better, helping provide things for it. I also have affiliate links for Amazon and MakersGeek. Christmas is coming up, so please update your bookmark with the Amazon link, send to your friends and family. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, happy printing.